reached out to Heather, and she was my first subscriber besides my husband. And she is going to be getting a special gift from me for being my first subscriber. Her decorating style is just traditional, which is perfect. I'm more of a farmhouse, shabby kind of girl. She likes peach and green. She likes the kind of a deep neon green is the way she described it. So as a lot of you know, my goal is to actually use what I have on hand. So I went ahead and designed something on my Cricut, and it is cutting out right now. And I will use my inks and my dyes to make this project more to her color taste. So I'm glad to have you along with me for this journey as you see what I create for Miss Heather for being my very first subscriber on YouTube. This is how I'm starting, and the inks will be drug out as well. I'll need to paint my board, paint my home letters, which are also wood. I've got some music notes cut out, as well as some items to make a few rosettes, and you can see the music notes that will be cut out of there. She actually plays the drums at her church, and so I wanted to bring in the colors that she likes, as well as something she loves to do, which is music. So once again, I'm excited to have you along with me on this journey as we create something special for Miss Heather. Okay, so the next step that I have is I had this board that was purchased from Walmart. I believe this was $4.99, $4.97. Walmart's always like an odd number out there. And because using stuff in my stash, and this was an unfinished board, I went outside and I actually used their cheap little spray paint on it. And this is actually 2 coats, which is pretty sad, but I needed something to go over it because it being the raw wood, it was going to absorb that paint. And I wanted to have something as a base coat on that before I started painting. So now I'm going to actually use a chalk paint to put a base down over the top of this. If I can get it open. There we go. And that way I can get this drying as I get the others done. Now I've put my first layer of paint on the letters that are spelling out home. And I've got them, flipped over now, and I need to go ahead and get the second coat going on those on the correct side, and that way that they can be dried and ready to put on the board. I've got some of the rosettes ready, and I'll be showing you that process in a moment. But let me go ahead and get this board wall decor painted on the base here so we can get started after we get it dried and get started on putting this project together for Miss Heather. I appreciate you coming along with this journey, and that you can see this come together as I prepare this gift for Miss Heather, my very first subscriber on my YouTube channel. And I'm hoping to have more random little giveaways, so be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you want to be chose randomly at some point in time to receive a free gift from me. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have taken the base and actually got that all painted with the ivory chalk paint, and Heather has chosen a peach and a green that she really liked, and I did not have that in a particular color of paint, so I'm actually making my own. And I'm taking just some acrylic paint, and I took a light orange. Let's see, what is the actual name of this one? This one is Crocus, and we've got pink. And once I get those two actually mixed in well, I am going to add a little bit of white to that to lighten it up. The ones that she actually chose were on an ink pad. Now I keep my colors on something like this so that when I'm out and about I can actually have my colors with me. This is my inks, and she had chosen it was the Marigold. Let's see. Yeah, it's right here. Dried Marigold. And that's the color she chose actually for her peach color. As you can see, this is not working. So, and she chose the Mementos New Sprout for her green. And so I have mixed my colors. These are my paint colors, and I try to keep swatches, and so I can send out or have them with me and say, okay, you know, help me choose what colors that you're interested in, and we can take it from there. So as we mix this up, I'm going to add some white to that and lighten that up quite a bit. And we're going to take and we're going to finish covering these letters for the home sign that we're making for her. I want to make sure that's good and mixed in there. And then I want to check the color once again with the what we have created for her, and that looks pretty good. That looks pretty close. I'm happy with that. It may need once it dries, it may have a tad different look, but we will see. So I'm going to get this off the end of this plastic fork here. Put that on over here. And I'm going to finish with my paintbrush. I'm going to go ahead and make sure my edges are done, because once this is attached to your wood frame, these edges are still going to be seen. So I want to make sure we've got good coverage all the way around the edges of these letters. And the tops where people are actually going to see them. And I'm going to go on in here and I'm going to put a good coat of this paint on all of my letters here, and I will come back and let you see them once they are covered and done. With this particular step, drying time I think takes the most for each of these, making sure that I've got it on there and all my little areas are covered. And I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so it is very difficult for me to let something go just, you know, where it's just passing. I want to make sure that whatever I am giving as a gift or selling at a craft fair or online at my Etsy store, that it is quality, and I want people to be able to see that and share that joy that I had making it once they have the actual item in their home, or if they're giving it as a gift. So I mean, it's really important to me, and you know, have fun with it when you're doing it, and you know, be true to yourself as well. If you're going to make something for somebody, make sure that you are true to yourself and what you're doing. So as soon as I get done painting these, I will be back and I will show you the finished product on the letters, and then we will move on from there. Thank you. All right, so I've got a coat, another coat of that made up peach color, and the color that Heather chose was actually a distressed oxide ink by Ranger, Tim Holtz and Ranger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that ink and I'm going to put it here on my tabletop, and I've got some wax paper down. And I'm going to take some water and I'm going to spray and I'm going to activate that ink. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to swirl it around. And I'm going to take this ink now and I am going to just brush over the tops of my letters. And the distressed oxide inks, once you activate them with the water, they'll give you a different look. And they also, when they dry, it is more of a chalky finish. And I think it's oxidized, which I think is such a cool look. And it just changes the appearance of what you've actually done. Go ahead and put some more on down here without contaminating my pad. And a little bit more water. You see that change of the color there? And it just softens it right on up. And I just needed to put a little bit more on down here. And get that color on top of that E. And now we will let this dry. And it won't take long for this to dry as well. You can see the difference already, as this was shiny from the acrylic, and now it has dulled down from the oxide ink, which is, once again, it's the ink is just amazing. I was showing Joe last night, Joe's my husband, just what coverage this ink actually gives. And what I'll do is I'll show you on these were the papers that I used to actually cut out the circles for the rosettes that I was creating. Now, when Heather chose her colors, I went ahead and got the ink colors and covered that paper. Original, Heather's choice. And of course, I've got some of the marigold around the edge of that just to highlight as we put that together. What a difference from the same paper. Not all your inks are going to do that. And this is cardstock. It's not anything special. It's not a watercolor paper. It's not Yupo. It's just a colored cardstock that I had on hand Remember, that's one of the things I'm trying to do is use up my stock, because you guys have seen my pictures on Instagram. I have got a full craft room, and that's not even the stuff in the garage. We won't start that whole journey right now. And then for the base underneath, that's going to go underneath this particular one. This is the original, and this is with the oxide ink that she chose. Once again, what a difference. Now you can really see it on in through here, but this is going to be covered, so I didn't go all crazy on that. You can flip it on over and you can see the difference. So, original colors. Woo! Oxide colors. And there's Thomas. Anybody who knows Thomas knows he's a lover, and he is. He has hearts on his paws, and he's eating my glue stick on my glue gun. Excuse you. Excuse you. So I'm going to let these totally dry, and then we will be back. So don't leave me in this process. So our next step in this process is going to be to create the rosettes for our sign. Now I've got, I had created 4 of these panels that I had cut out on my Cricut Maker, and I put little music notes in the center of those right there. You can see those. And I went ahead and I glued 3 of these on together. And when you actually score, this is leftover, a little piece of that I actually tore out by mistake, accidentally. But if you score on one side, it will make it easier to actually fold down and fold down and fold down. If you do it on the other side, it is a little harder, and you can see that that paper does not go along with that fold very well. But if you fold into that, it actually folds quite nicely. So I do that first, and then I'll come back and I'll do my accordion. And that way I've got it going both ways. And this is some nice thick cardstock. I think I got it at, I ordered it a long time ago on Michaels.com in the bulk, where you could actually get this in a package of bulk. And it came in, and it's a very nice heavyweight cardstock, and it does not crack when you're bending it for particular folds like this. So once you get all of your pieces burnished, folded into your peaks and valleys, your accordion fold, however you relate to that particular style of fold, I'm going to go ahead, and there's a little tab here on the end, and I'm going to fold that tab down. And I'm going to put some of my art glitter glue on that tab. Oh, I need to clean out the tip of my glue head here. There we go. Put some art glitter glue on the top of that. And try to get my pen back in one-handedly. And then I'm going to line that up, and I'm going to line my sides up here and my top up here, so that when I go to fold this, it's going to fold nicely. Now I have one more tab to glue. Now remember, there was 4 pieces. There's one section 2 section, 3 section, 4 section. I'm going to go ahead and do one more section. This was a leftover piece that actually did have some tears in it from me, not from anything else, but user error. I pulled it off my mat way too fast and tore some of those little pieces on the inside of those music notes out. So the ones that are going actually on the artwork for her wall are all solid. There's no tears in it. Okay, so now that is folded. That art glitter glue dries really fast, so that makes it very nice. The next thing I want to do is I want to take the ink. I'm going to go ahead and put this paper towel down here, and I'm going to just use my ink blender, and I'm just going to very gently kind of dust it off of the tips of this rosette. I am a crafter that cannot talk and work at the same time. I find that very humorous. But you're just gonna brush it right off the tip just to give it a little bit of that blush. And then once I get all the way around, what I did is I went ahead and did an accordion roll on that once again, and then just right on those edges. So now when that opens up, you've got just some distressed edges right along the top of that. And I did that all the way around. On this rosette until I had all the edges distressed. And then what I did, because I wanted the shadow on the inside as well, is I went ahead and where it has that peaks in the valley, I now took the valley and I folded it up, and that became my peak. And so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the same thing where those valleys were. So now when I do my rosette, my valleys are going to have a nice distressed shadowing on the inside where it goes down. And you'll be able to see that in here where this is the original color, and then that is after it has been distressed with this ink. So once that is done, set that aside. I have my hot glue gun going. I have my circles, which is what I am going to actually roll my rosette up and actually glue it onto the circle here. Now the easiest way to do that is, you're going to train your paper, train your cardstock. Once again, this cardstock is very thick, so it may take a little bit more maneuvering, but the more you work with it, the more those fibers are worked and bent and fixated so that they can be moved around. And so I'm going to take this, kind of grab two of the edges, and I'm going to fold it in there and kind of squeeze that on in and have on camera have that pop right on out. Let me try that again. Might help if I have them all going the right way. Or the same way, I should say. And bring that on over. And you want to get those centers folded on inside. Now, because this is good cardstock, it's not going to tear on you. You just continue to move it around. Now, if you let it go, it's going to spring right back up. But we're going to take our circle, and we're going to put a good dollop of glue on there. And we're going to take our rosette, and we're going to do the best we can to center that right on over the top. And I'm going to take my glue once again and drop it right down the center of that rosette. And I'm going to squeeze that up. You can see that hot glue squeezing right out the top. And I'm going to let that cool just a few moments. As it cools, that glue goes back to solidifies, goes back to a solid state. And my fingers are very used to the hot glue, so please be very cautious of using hot glue. This is a very high temp hot glue gun, but I have been doing this stuff for quite some time, and I'm used to the heat. So once you've got that down and you've got your base on the back and you've got that firm on the top, I want to go ahead and put something on the top of this that is going to give it a little bit more of a interest. My goodness. Now, I've shown you how I've actually distressed the paper already. So now I'm going to take the hot glue once again and put that around the center. Hold that down. Doesn't take much. That hot glue dries fairly quick, or cools fairly quick. And I'm going to put that other piece right on top of that. And now I have a very large decorative rosette ready for Heather and John. Now this one, like I said, because it has some tears, that one's going to be tossed to the side. But I do have another one here, and I have other ones that are actually done. So, let's see, this one will need a, yeah, we'll put a top piece on here. Let's go ahead and do that. And another little bit in the middle. And right on the top there. Okay. So this actually gives me 3 very large rosettes. And by very large, I have a square here. These are tip to tip 6 6 inches. So that is a very, very good size rosette to make. Okay, so we have our letters and our base for our wall art done. And I also have some letters I wanted to put welcome to our, and then we have our home, and then I have the year that they were married in 2006. So I'll have established 2006, but I'll probably put that here. And I'm thinking a rosette, and then welcome to our home, established, and then another rosette. Now in order to make sure I get this on here evenly and that I have enough room for what I want to do, I wanted to make sure I have this laid out. Let's go ahead and kind of pop that up a little bit to the top, and then see about popping another one down here towards the bottom. And so that gives me this area here and this area here I can do the established down here, and then welcome to our up here. And then I have some music notes I can fill in without making it overpowering. One of the neat things that I've learned over the years is an easy way to actually lay these down without necessarily getting them crooked. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. So what I want to do first is I want this established to be down in this area. And so I'm going to go ahead and take this square here, and I am going to lay it on this board. And if I lay it towards the bottom, I'm thinking that's probably a good spot to have that. So I am going to take my established, and I'm going to get a nice little pick here. And I've taken just regular alphabet stickers and I've painted them the same colors. That way everything matches. And now I'm going to peel up the stickers. Off of this nice little plastic, and I'm going to put it right across here on this square as even as I can. That way I can put some glue on the back to help give those stickers a little bit of extra staying power. Get those top parts glued down, and then take the bottom parts off the ruler, whichever you happen to be using, and then get the bottom attached. So let's go ahead and get this done, and I will be right back. Okay, I went ahead and paused it for a moment while I got those first set of stickers off that plastic. Since the paint and ink had dried on them, it was a little more trying than normal. So, as you can see, I have now got the stickers on the end of this ruler. I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to line it up and tilt it up, and then I'm going to just give those top pieces just a little bit of a press down. Now I am going to go back in and I'm going to glue them down into place. But this should give me a good idea of where these should actually be. So let me get those down and try that. These two one more time. And tilt that up. Press that on. And pull those off. And that too just does not want to cooperate with me. So I'm going to mess with that just a little bit. So let's just see how we're doing here before I put some adhesive on the back of these. Let's get that down. Let's get that lifted up and over just a tad bit. I think that might be okay. I might need to get that established up just a little bit more. But my excuse is always, you know, the earth is constantly moving. So it just throws me off. Oh goodness. Okay. So I think that is some good location. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of my art glitter glue behind those, just enough to hold those down. And we will move on to the next step. All right, so I've got the established down. And my next goal is I'm going to go ahead and get the home on there. Now I want to have this stay and be able to last them for quite some time. So I am going to use a combination of a strong bond adhesive, which can be something like your super glues or your E6000, but in order for it to actually catch quickly for me, I want to use some hot glue on top of that. So I am needing another glue stick on there real quick. I always take my tip of my glue gun and get that tip of that stick a little hot and started for it, so that when I stick it in there, it actually adheres to the other glue stick, so that there's not an issue with it pushing on through. Got my glue, my heavy duty glue on there, and then I've got my hot glue on there. And I have my square on there, so I know that it's all going to be nice and even. And I want that to come on down. And I'm going to sit that right on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other letters. I start with the ones in the middle and work my way out so that I know that I have enough room all around my letters. Okay. Now I have my E hanging off a bit because I want to put a little something extra on the side of my H. So that is just a preference for myself. Sure that lines up with those. Press that on down. Now that hot glue should have grabbed that right away. And then my strong adhesive should keep it there. So my stickers that I had painted and let dry, you usually want to pull those things off before they dry completely, because if you don't, you're going to have some struggling with getting it off that plastic, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I went ahead and printed it out and cut it out on my Cricut, so that I now will just have the letters and get those established on the board. What I do want to do first of all is go ahead and get these colored up just a little bit more to that green that Heather had chose. So that I will do with the ink, and simple and easy to do, just like I did on the others. I'm going to take the napkin, paper towel, piece of plastic, spare paper, whatever you happen to have on hand, and I am going to put those letters on down. And I am going to use my ink dauber, and I am going to get these inks to the color that Heather had chose. Once again, very simple and easy to do. One done. These inks are wonderful because they cover so nicely. And the cardstock takes it very well. So I'm going to get these inked up, and then we'll get them measured up and placed down on our board. Okay, well, here it is. Let me see if I can get this down low enough for y'all. Home. Welcome to our home. Established 2006. I can see my kitties have messed with where the stand is. You can see my messy craft area. There goes my glue bottle. Let's see if I can just lay that down and get it all onto screen for you. Yeah, that's better. So, tell me what you think. This will be going to Miss Heather and John, her husband. Colors that they have chosen. Said she plays the drums in church. We have a three-dimensional. Here we have our music notes. So let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to be informed when I upload another video, please don't forget to hit that bell button. And as I ask, please look for a miracle in every day. They're all around us. Thank you, God bless, and have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.